can!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, welcome to Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get the show started. On the show today, India gears up to take on New Zealand this weekend at the final of the ICC Champions Trophy. Can India break the ICC knockout curse against this opponent, and will the CSK connection in the Kiwi camp haunt India? Meanwhile, Indian football makes a distress call to their talismanic former captain Sunil Chhetri comes out of retirement to play for India this month. Is this a regressive move by Indian football? Is there no one to take this team into the future and bring back saliva? So say fast bowlers. Mohammed Shami of India started the plea, and he's found voices of support across the globe. How does the saliva on a cricket ball help, and will the ban finally be lifted to bring bowlers some respite? All of that heading your way, but first a look at the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with cricket and the Women's Premier League, Mumbai captain Harmanpreet Kaur was docked 10% of her match fees after being involved in an ugly spat with UP team's Sophie Ecclestone. The India batter got into a heated argument with Ecclestone over a slow over rate issue during UP's innings. Mumbai eventually won the match by 6 wickets. On to football, Lionel Messi less Inter Miami cruised past Cavalier in the CONCACAF Champions Cup. The MLS side registered a 2-0 win over the Jamaican side in the round of 16 first leg fixture. Messi was rested by the Miami-based club to manage his workload. In the Europa League, Manchester United were held to a 1-1 draw by Real Sociedad. After a goalless first half, both the teams scored in the second. The two sides will head into the second half of the round of 16 with no advantage. Neymar has been recalled to the Brazil squad after a 17-month absence. The 33-year-old has been named in the squad for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers against Colombia and Argentina. Neymar's return to Santos after that long injury break led to his national call-up. In tennis, women's tennis governing body WTA, in partnership with Saudi Public Investment Fund, or the PIF, announced the first of its kind maternity benefits. Players can receive 12 months of paid maternity leave and 2 months for surrogacy or adoption cases. All players will receive an undisclosed amount. New Zealand, from being thulped by India in their last group game of the Champions Trophy, outplayed and undone by India's spin department, are suddenly coming into this final all guns blazing and riding high on confidence. They just beat South Africa rather convincingly in the semi-final, and their new captain has made all the right noises leading up to the big final. Like when asked about the tediousness of the tournament and the scheduling, this is what Mitch Santner said.
It's just the general feel of this tournament, moving around a lot. It's all part of the challenge. I think we've been to every place here. Obviously, in Pakistan and Dubai. I think the guys understand it's part of it these days. As long as you're ready to go for the game, it's fine.
Trick question, smart answer. But jokes aside, New Zealand have been those nice guys of cricket, but maybe they are tired now of saying nice guys finish last. Whether it was in the ODI World Cup in 2015, that loss to Australia was heartbreaking when they got the better of them. Another one, of course, in 2019. This probably peaked it all, with England just nosing ahead based on just an ICC boundary rule. And the T20 World Cup in 2021, another loss, and again coming to Australia. So they've just had about enough of coming so close and yet so far. And standing in front of them at an ICC final is a foe who they have got the better of when it comes to ICC knockouts. One they haven't faced in an ICC men's final in white ball cricket since 2000. New Zealand has got the better of India in ODI World Cups. You see those numbers there. In T20 World Cups as well, it's been a flawless record, and the World Test Championship. Now, it's been even Stevens only when it comes to the Champions Trophy. But maybe their secret weapon this time will be the Chennai Super Kings factor, the IPL franchise that is mentored by none other than MS Dhoni. Yes, that's right. We've all witnessed MSD and CSK's Midas touch, the hand that turns anything it touches into gold. IPL campaigns, especially for one, and just the sheer presence in this franchise that has given a new lease of life to so many cricketers. It has either helped discover future talents for India, like our Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja, who made their first major imprints in this particular franchise, or it has transformed cricketers to becoming superstars and showmen after seemingly being down and out, like Shane Watson or Robin Uthappa, who just managed to somehow rise from the ashes in this franchise. It has somehow managed to create magic where no one saw any. Players who were discarded from other franchises came and shone bright, especially in CSK. New Zealand harbours an inner CSK in their very core. Players like Rachin Ravindra, Devon Conway, Mitchell Santner, the captain, all have that CSK streak, making them potent opponents on the final day. In fact, thanks to their association with the Yellow Brigade, they are not only more well-versed with the conditions in the subcontinent, they probably know a thing or two about taking matches deep, not giving up and pushing on till the final delivery. Something that CSK as a franchise has symbolized. It symbolizes thanks to its leader. So rest assured, the contest on Sunday is bound to be one where India will be up against a renewed, reinvigorated New Zealand, a New Zealand 2.0, a team that bounced back from a defeat to India to hand South Africa a very humbling loss, who may be nice but definitely wouldn't want to finish last on Sunday. Sunil Chhetri has reversed his decision on retirement. Less than a year since he bid farewell to the sport, India's highest goal scorer will make a comeback for the international calendar in March. And while it is a massive boon for Indian football, does it highlight the country's failure to produce a replacement for Chhetri? Sunil Chhetri hung up his boots in June last year after leading India for close to 2 decades. It was emotional scenes that night, and just 9 months later, the footballer has been summoned to play for India once again. Head coach Manolo Marquez announced his 26-member squad for the international fixtures this month, and Chhetri's name was included. No wonder the internet was abuzz. A name who will give the otherwise struggling India a massive boost, because ever since Chhetri retired, the team has failed to win a single game. 5 matches, no wins, 3 draws. Yes, the fixtures included a very tough one against Qatar, but the other matches were against Syria, Mauritius, Vietnam and Malaysia. And now with the AFC Asian Cup qualification on the line, India clearly needs Chhetri to rescue them all over again.
The qualification for the Asian Cup is very crucial for us. Given the importance of the tournament and the matches ahead, I discussed with Sunil Chhetri about making a comeback to strengthen the national team. He agreed, and so we have included him in the squad.
Chhetri will be 40 years, 7 months and 16 days old when he makes his comeback after retirement for a fixture against Maldives later this month. And we've seen footballers going strong at 40. Cristiano Ronaldo is a prime example of that. Still one of the best in the world currently. He still has the hunger to keep playing, and especially looking at yet another World Cup. And with Chhetri too, fitness and age has never been an issue. But what this reminds me of is the reason why Chhetri called it quits in the first place, because when the former Indian captain announced his retirement, he said this.
The retirement decision was not because of physical aspect. I'm still fit, running, chasing, defending. The hard work is not difficult. The reason is to do with the mental aspect.
And Chhetri is right. He's still performing for his club Bengaluru. He has scored 12 goals and assisted twice in 23 matches. He has been their highest scorer this particular season. So it's not a question about Chhetri's skill or his intent, but how can we ignore the bigger concern here? Where does India stand without someone like Chhetri, without his experience, his skill, his exuberant presence? The country and the player both had made a decision to part ways, move on to the next chapter. But clearly that didn't last too long. How much time now until they find their feet again? Now, I understand the axe is hanging over head coach Manolo Marquez. Even though he's just taken charge, it's not been too long, and India hasn't won a single game under his 4-match tenure. That's the point. So qualifying for AFC Asian Cup is crucial, a tournament that India has been a part of in the past 2 editions. Miss here, and that could mean a huge setback for Indian football and the management, everyone in charge. But what this decision to bring back Chhetri has done is halted India's rise once again. For how long can Chhetri be the answer to every problem? Another year, 2, but what after that? Who after that? With Chhetri's comeback, India has dropped goalkeeper Gurpreet Singh Sandhu, a player who was expected to be India's leader. They have even dropped 3 forwards, Edmund Lalridika, Lalrinzua Lalbianknia, and crucially, David Lalansanga, players who were stepping into Chhetri's shoes. Lalansanga, who's a 23-year-old, has been among the goals this season, both domestically and in Asia. But instead of pushing him to the forefront more, India has once again resorted to Chhetri. Is the desire to have short-term success costing India a shot at building a team for the future, at having a vision? Now, living in nostalgia and in the past is always comforting, but that cannot guarantee success and a future that only works on proper planning and execution. And that's the torturous cycle that Indian football seems to find itself in. Now, this isn't what you think, but fast bowlers are beginning to make some noise about exactly this. The bowler who started it all is the one who's made a strong comeback in the ICC Champions Trophy for India. Mohammed Shami seems to believe that it is time to start allowing bowlers to use their saliva on the cricket ball to get some shine on it. So let's start at the beginning. Why is this done? Now, sweat or saliva is applied in one side of the ball on one side of the seam. What it does is makes the ball heavier. It brings more shine to that side. Basically, one side of the ball is still rough thanks to all the hitting and the scratching that has naturally generated over the course of the game. And the side that has the saliva is not just shinier, it is smoother. So that means air travels faster. So as it's smooth, so there's little to no resistance. So this gives birth to movement, such as the reverse swing, an art that some of the legends of the game were known to have, including, of course, our man, Mohammed Shami.
We're trying to reverse, but you're not getting the use of saliva into the game. We're constantly appealing to allow the use of saliva, and it will be interesting with the reverse swing.
And there are more voices chiming in now. Former test greats and players who used it to their advantage. New Zealand's Tim Southee and South Africa's Vernon Philander have backed Mohammed Shami's plea. Southee feels the bowlers need to have some advantage in a game that is already heavily stacked against them.
We see the game going the way it's going and seeing sides score 362, and more often than not over 300 in this format. I think there needs to be something in the bowler's favor, and whether that's a little bit of saliva, then yeah, I don't see why they couldn't afford to get that back in.
Now, using saliva has been banned for some years now. When did that happen exactly? Right after sport itself came to a grinding halt, a year after COVID struck and cricket, along with other sporting disciplines, were just getting back on their feet. Every sporting authority had to make changes and certain tweaks on the field of play to ensure that there would be less chances of the virus spreading in any possible way. Example, in cricket, from the use of the saliva on the cricket ball by the fielding team. So in the middle of the second wave of COVID, September 20, 2022, ICC introduced an amendment making it a rule that stated that hereon, bowlers or any member of the fielding team would not be allowed to use saliva on the cricket ball. And the Pacers' plea is simple. Cricket, especially ODI cricket, 50 overs, is a huge span that needs to have rules that can make the contest between bat and ball that much more balanced and exciting. During the ICC Champions Trophy semi-final between South Africa and New Zealand, a 350-plus total was breached. And former South Africa pacer Vernon Philander feels that had the saliva rule come in place, South Africa might have got back into the game.
If we look at the state of that ball, I mean, towards the back end, it was really scuffed up. And I think had you used the saliva, the element of the reverse swing might have come into play. When you play on surfaces like we've just seen in Pakistan, it is needed.
And when you play on surfaces that offer little to nothing to bowlers, a flat deck for the batters, death overs literally spell death and doom for the fast bowlers.
I'm trying to get my rhythm back and contribute more to the team. There's a load when you are the one main pacer and the other is an all-rounder. I have to shoulder more responsibility and lead from the front.
Of course, for Shami, it's a situation where he's operating as the lead pacer in the absence of a Jasprit Bumrah at the ICC Champions Trophy. The pressure for him to deliver and take wickets is immense. And one of Shami's biggest weapons has, of course, been the reverse swing, an art that has humbled some of the best batters the world over, something that the two new ball rule has already dampened. While the idea is always to create more balance between bat and ball to witness better contests, the high totals, the big sixes and the need for those big shots drives more viewership, making this an imperative decision to make. Now, when we see batters having a free rein in terms of the kind of bats to use to suit them, whether it's a shorter handle, thicker edges, lighter or heavier bats, why can't bowlers get back that very slight edge to make things a little more interesting? Time for last serve. Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc put on a show for Ferrari fans in Milan before heading to Australia for the new season. Both drivers sped around for a bunch of fans who'd gathered. Take a look.
I'm going to learn Italian, so just
Ci abbiamo pensato, ne abbiamo parlato.
Primo, grazie poi per lo supporto.
Well, the bromance is surely brewing. Can't wait for the races to begin. But that wraps it up here on Firstpost. Of course, it's a special weekend, and we'll be coming to you with, of course, all the coverage on that big final in our special series, Champions of Cricket. So do stay tuned for that. For now, though, it's bye-bye.
Merci beaucoup. Hi, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Namaste, Mr. President.
Bharat Kelogan, Komeri Namaste.
How many people generally follow you in interviews?
Typically in a month, we have viewers up to 150 million. That's more than twice the population of France. And in the last 2 years, we had 3 billion viewers. So I say, Laurent, this is your chance to be famous. You're on Firstpost. One word to describe your equation with Prime Minister Modi.
Amitié.
As India and France work together, are you creating a new era of non-alignment in the technology space?
India is a training superpower. 1 million engineers a year, more than all of Europe and the US combined. So we have that partnership. We have a partnership on the environment and the economy. We also have civilian nuclear programs. And that is something we've developed far beyond the France-India relationship. So we want to work together on AI.
And then comes China with its DeepSeek creating models at a fraction of the cost. Did that innovation take you by surprise? Did that breakthrough make you sit up and think, what did the Chinese do and how?
But what did DeepSeek do? They took everything that was already available from the last AI model and then they recalibrated it.
So are you going to ban Chinese AI in France?
So we don't have this American approach of banning tech because of where it comes from.